Skin the Hardaway Southern T. Back with another EP. And y'all do your boy a favor. Y'all smash that like button for your boy when you roll on in. Whether you here for a good time or whether you here for a long time. If you could, do your boy solid. Smash that like button for your boy when you roll on in. Today, I'm here, I'm here with a little different EP, right? This is concerning the 147-pound division. This is concerning Errol Spence in the I don't want to say upcoming Keith Thurman fight, right? But this is concerning Errol Spence in the rumored, right, in the story Keith Thurman fight. Now, I'm pretty sure most of us know the history. Well, hold on, wait, first. I'm being rude. Let me say what's up to the people in the building. Let me say what's up to everybody in the building. I'm finna bring my camera up in just a second. Just a second. What's good, Tim? Appreciate you sliding through this thing, Tim. Glad you can make it, pimp. If y'all could do your boy a favor, smash that like button for your boy. What's good, Ray? Appreciate you sliding through this thing, Ray. Glad you can make it, my guy. What's good, King? Shout out my guy, Jason. Appreciate you following through this thing. Glad you can make it, my guy. D-Man, what's good? What the hell you talking about, D-Man? Appreciate you sliding through. 88 Sports, what's good, 88? Appreciate you sliding through this thing, 88. Glad that you can make it. My phone malfunctioning. I hate when my shit be malfunctioning. Boxing MMA, what's good, Brody? Appreciate you sliding through this thing. Glad you can make it, pimp. Knockout Boxing, what's good, Knockout? Appreciate you sliding through this thing. Glad you can make it, my G. Shout out my guy, James Silver. Appreciate you sliding through this thing, James Silver. Glad you can make it, my G. Glad you can make it. So y'all jab that like button for your boy, when you roll on in. Pull you up a chair, right? Now, y'all know I only report, if I report something over here on Southern T, you better believe it's something that I seen, something that I done, something that I know, or it's something that, somebody that I know, somebody that I trust, you know what I mean, has seen something that they had done or something that they had know. I get a lot of stories, you know what I mean, to come through my inbox, through my phone and stuff like that. And not everything makes it, to the show, right? So if something makes it to the show, understand that I vehemently believe it. Understand that I did my homework, that I did, my research on it, right? That I checked with my source, and if my source gave it to me, believe me that I checked with, another source. You know what I mean? I checked, I double, triple check. You know what I mean? These kind of things before I bring it to the light, right? So when I post something, understand that it's coming from, a real place. You know what I mean? So we're in the we're in the wakes of Keith Thurman versus Errol Spence, right? Everyone know the story. Bud Crawford and Errol Spence was negotiating their contracts, right? They were negotiating a contract to fight, right? He ended up falling through. Bud Crawford ended up signing the fight David Avanesian, which is going to be through. Bud Crawford ended up fighting David Avanesian, right? Which is going to be this weekend. And that left, Errol Spence without an opponent. And you're right. And they left a lot of people, wondering, right? Who exactly is Errol Spence going to fight next? If Errol Spence is going to fight next at all, right? And then we had the WBC come out with their ruling, right? The WBC ruled that Keith Thurman, would be the new mandatory for the WBC, right? And then when that struck, that started the story. Well, Errol Spence got to satisfy his WBA mandatory first, right? So, PBC and their promotional company, TGB Promotions, they got proactive, right? And they filed the C16 special arrangement, they filed the C16, special arrangement permission I forgot the exact technical term for it, but I know the rule. It falls under the rule C19 and the W special permissions. The C19 rule, special permissions rule, right? And they went to the WBA and they asked, could Keith Thurman represent, Earl Spence for their WBA mandatory as well as the WBC mandatory? And the WBA agreed to that under one condition. The WBA agreed to that under the condition that Errol Spence will have to face off against the winner of Virgil Ortiz and the Montes Stanonis, who was the original WBA mandatory after, the fight between these two. So they were granted, permission to have the Keith Thurman fight, be considered the WBA mandatory and the WBC mandatory. But after, you must fight the winner of Virgil Ortiz and Stanonis, who will be the WBA regular champ, right? So now the question is out, who's Errol Spence going to fight, exactly when he's going to fight. Keith Thurman, right? Because of everything I just said, or Terence Crawford finding somebody else to fight. The PBC, right? Wanting us, the PBC, actually, the PBC, what I'm trying to say is the PBC has always wanted this Keith Thurman fight, right? Which is why that it keeps coming up, right? So he was trying to fight Bud at first. Bud ended up fighting somebody else. And now the WBC and the WBA then okayed the whole situation with Keith Thurman being the next fight. But let me tell y'all something. Right now, what's good, AB? Appreciate you sliding through this thing. AB to IT. What's good? CWT in the building. Appreciate you sliding through this, John King. Glad you could make it. So, all the cards, all the stones, right? Everything is set up for Errol Spence to fight Keith Thurman. Now, you got some people who are excited about this fight, right? You got some people who've been arguing for years, right? Errol Spence ducking Keith Thurman. Errol Spence had never fought Keith Thurman, right? And then now the rumor and the stories come out that he's about to fight Keith Thurman. Now you got certain people changing their tune, right? So you got some people who are excited about him fighting Keith Thurman. You got other people, who don't really care about him fighting Keith Thurman. You got other people who's upset that he's fighting Keith Thurman. You got people who even calling him a liar because he about to fight Keith Thurman and he said that he would never, fight Keith Thurman. Now, the thing is, everybody is suspecting, right? Everybody is thinking that he is about to fight Keith Thurman, right? But honestly and true enough, Errol Spence doesn't know who he's about to fight yet because Errol Spence, like he said previously, Errol Spence has no interest in fighting Keith Thurman. Like he said previously, this is coming, from, my trusted source who's close to, the PBC. You know what I mean? Errol Spence still, hasn't changed his tone about fighting Keith Thurman. He still feels like, Keith Thurman held him back. He feels like Keith Thurman, is part of the reason why he didn't get his title shot earlier. He felt like Keith Thurman, had a chance to, give him a shot back in the day, and he stunted his career. So Errol Spence, is really set in stone on not fighting Keith Thurman. So despite, the PBC being, extremely interested in this fight, despite the PBC even feel like, right, that this Keith Thurman fight, brings in more money, is worth more money, is a bigger fight for the company, right, than the Bud Crawford fight, right? So given, they feel that way, this is a fight that the PBC, is pushing, that the PBC wants, which is what I've been saying, since, January, right before and after, Mario Barrios. This was always, a thing that the PBC wanted to do. Errol Spence wanted Terence Crawford and Undisputed. So the PBC, put their own personal plans to the side, to try to do their best to make this Terence Crawford and Errol Spence fight, right? But at this very moment, right, we're not going to get that fight because Terence Crawford has a fight sign. And in the meantime, the PBC wants Errol Spence to fight Keith Thurman. I got 17 people. I got 19 people in the building. I got 19 likes. If you in the building right now and you haven't smashed that like button, could you do your boy a favor? Smash that like button, whether you're here for a good time or a long time. Could y'all do your boy solid? Dab that like button. Subscribe to the channel as well. But I digress. So this is more so of a fight. He said Keith and Spence will bring a good check, but Keith did hold him back then. I'm getting somewhere, AB. I'm getting somewhere, AB. Y'all stay with me. Y'all stay with me. What's good, Josh? Appreciate you sliding through this giant thing, Josh. Glad you can make it. TWT in the building. Y'all stay with me. Y'all stay with me real quick. We getting somewhere. Y'all know I like to walk y'all around the bush so I can get all the people who just being nosy. It's a lot of people in here right now that's just being nosy. A lot of people right now, they ain't really here for the right reasons. And I'm trying to let all them, get their ass up out of here first. What's good, Just? Appreciate you sliding through this thing. TWT in the building. But hell yeah, you know what I mean? So and like I was saying, like the fact still remains, right? Errol Spence is still not very fond of this fight. Errol Spence even put on Twitter, you know what I mean, not too long ago, right, that I would rather drop my title before I ever fight Keith Thurman. This is a PBC fight, you know what I mean? The PBC feel like, this is a big fight, which it really is, right? Everybody understands that, this is a big fight. The PBC feels like this is an even bigger fight than Bud Crawford. So, of course, the PBC side is all for this. But like I was saying, the fact still remains. And not because he's afraid of him, not because he think he'll lose, or nothing like that. The fact still remains. Errol Spence does not want to fight Keith Thurman because of what Keith Thurman did to him, you know what I mean, earlier in his career. You know what I mean? And, so I was talking to my source, right? And this conversation came up, about Earl and Keith. And I asked him, what's good, Ghost? Appreciate you sliding through this thing, family. Glad you can make it, pimp. I was talking to, one of my sources, and I asked him, I was like, so what's up with Errol Spence and Keith Thurman? He was like, man, Errol Spence and Keith Thurman ain't signed to fight. You know what I mean? Errol Spence and Keith Thurman ain't even negotiating. That's a contract, and that's a fight that they already really got, already. It's just up, to them if they're going to do it. And he said, and really, Errol Spence, don't want to fight Keith Thurman. And he was like, and he was like, from what I'm hearing, right? Errol Spence is saying, if y'all want me to fight Keith Thurman, y'all gonna have to pay me even more than y'all, was going to pay me originally. You know what I mean? So Errol Spence is saying at this point, if the PBC, right, the PBC, wants this fight. Errol Spence is saying, if y'all want me to fight Keith Thurman, y'all going to have to pay me extra because, this is a big fight, but this is something that y'all want to do. I don't want to fight this guy. And he said, y'all didn't make him. Errol Spence is feeling like, right? Errol Spence, his side is feeling like, y'all didn't make him fight me when it was his time. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to fight him. And if y'all really, really want me to fight him, y'all are going to pay me. Y'all going to pay me, what I want to be paid for this fight. You know what I mean? You're going to have to pay me, what I want to be paid in order to get this fight done. Now, you could go check on your own. Errol Spence put on Twitter, I would much rather drop my belts than than to fight Keith Thurman. And that's on something personal. But for what I'm hearing right now, the only way that, the PBC is going to put this fight on, right, because the PBC wants this fight to happen. And I believe that it's a big fight as well. You know what I mean? But at this point, the only way that the PBC is really going to get this fight to happen, they're going to have to, pay Errol Spence what he wants because he's kind of feeling like, y'all, y'all want me to fight Keith Thurman, but y'all didn't force, y'all can't force my hand to fight Keith Thurman because, y'all didn't force Keith Thurman's hand to fight me. You know what I mean? He said if he feel that strongly about it, drop the belt, move up because he has no choice. He will fight him or lose the belt. Is order. Facts. And that's what I'm saying, Ghost. At this point, Errol Spence said he already said it. He said, I will drop the belts before I fight Keith Thurman. You know what I mean? So this fight that we talking about, Errol Spence and Keith Thurman, it's a chance that it happened. The PBC wanted to happen. But if the PBC wanted to happen, Errol saying, y'all gonna have to come with it this time, you know what I mean? And it will be in the PBC's best interest, right? If Errol, had all the belts. I mean, because what would happen? If Errol dropped one belt, you know what I mean? I guess we seen EJ at 54 because the number he asked, bro, the number not all that attainable. I mean, I know the question. I know the rumor numbers. I ain't gonna say the numbers though. I ain't gonna say them. You know what I mean? But I know what PBC. Know this fight will make. I know what PBC thinking this fight will make, right? And I know what Errol Spence saying. That he will want. He don't mind doing the fight, but they gonna have to come with it. You know what I mean? We very well could see. Y'all, if y'all check his Twitter not too long ago, Errol Spence just said, man, I still don't know who I'm gonna fight right now. Y'all been seeing Errol say, man, I'm going here. I'm finna go on vacation. I'm going here. I'm going there. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm hearing, right, he doing that for a reason. What I'm hearing is he trying to send a message, to the PBC that, man, I'm chilling. I'm not fighting Keith Thurman. Like, I would do anything else before I fight Keith Thurman. Like, I'm not, he trying to send the message, right? I'm not in the training camp because I'm not fighting Keith Thurman. And if y'all want me to fight Keith Thurman, y'all gonna have to come with it. That's why Errol Spence talking about everything else right now other than boxing, because he's trying to send a message to him that I'm not fighting Keith Thurman. You see Keith Thurman in the gym training, getting ready for a possible Errol Spence fight. This isn't really the fight that Errol Spence wanted. You know what I mean? This is a fight that Errol Spence really don't want because he don't really like Keith Thurman. You know what I mean? So everybody jumping out and saying, this fight next, it's a good fight, right? But it's not set in stone that we will get this. It's still up in the air exactly what Errol Spence is going to do. All signs point to Keith Thurman, but, they going to have to appease Errol Spence in order to get this fight. And this fight makes a lot of money for the PBC. The PBC knows that. And I believe that Errol Spence knows that. So that's why we haven't got no fight date or no fight announcement yet, because it's still business that got to be handled between the two sides. You know what I mean? James Stevens said Spence is one of the best boxers. Pay him $25 for Keith fight. Maybe he will fight him and beat him. It's the only reason why Spence versus Keith is needed. If we could guarantee Spence versus Crawford, and that can be guaranteed, move up, stop wasting time, champ. You're in for undisputed at 54. Fuck them all. Yep. To the enticement, Earl is being, and Ghost pretty much just said that Earl won't undisputed. He know that, Bud got the titles. He want to stay down there, to fight Bud for undisputed. But he don't want to fight Keith Thurman. You get what I'm saying? So he's really up in the air. He said 25 mil, James. PBC got to make a profit, man. Yep. But I tell y'all this. Errol Spence made about, if I remember this correctly, Errol Spence made about roughly $39 million with Yordenis Ugas. This is just what I'm hearing, right? This is what I'm hearing. I'll go ahead and say these numbers for y'all. Y'all do your boy a favor. I got 32 people in the building. I got 29 likes. If y'all could, jab that thumbs up for your boy. You know what I mean? Whether you're here for a good time or a long time, Again, y'all be dropping in. Y'all don't be smashing my like button, man. Y'all don't be getting your boy right. Y'all just be dropping in, doing your boy so wrong. Some of y'all be in here coming in and talking to me and don't even be liking the goddamn videos. You know what I mean? Y'all smash that like button for your boy. Tell a friend. Let them know that we lie. Let them know that we cooking. You know what I mean? He said, career-wise, I don't know if this is a good move for Spence. And it's not, right? Okay, at least from what I'm hearing, right? It's not a rift between the two. Like, it's not a rift between the PBC and Earl. You know what I mean? Well, fuck, I'll go ahead and tell y'all, right? I'll go ahead and tell y'all. Yeah, I'll go ahead and tell y'all. I'm finna get there boxing MMA. I'm finna get there. Yeah, Earl Spence and Ugas made about roughly 40 million. It made upward. It made 37 million upward. I heard 35. I heard 42. I heard 39. You know what I mean? So I just went with 39. You know what I mean? But it did great. You know what I mean? We could sit here and we could add up, you know, the tickets sold, and we could add up the pay-per-views, you know what I mean? And we could get, you know, 39, you know, million. You know what I mean? But a little more than 39, actually, you know. But you know, reports, right, is that fight made about 39 million. Him and Yordanis Ugas. Him and Keith Thurman, right? PBC believe that fight will make, you know, 50 million plus. They thinking that fight will make, if not quite 50 million, you know, up in that 40, 47, 48, 49, 50 range. 50 or higher, right? They thinking, you know, 45 million upwards, right? Now, I don't know how true this is, right? But I believe my guys. Right, when they tell me shit. And I don't always report shit. It don't always make it. So if it made it, you understand I did my homework. I did my due diligence and everything and all that, right? Numbers being reported is, since, you know, it's been, since y'all said it, right? The number, hold on, let me see what the fuck this is. The number is, but yeah, okay, yeah. Y'all do your boy a favor. Y'all smash that like button for your boy when you roll on in. Whether you're here for a good time or a long time, if this your first time, because you're not made it your last time, hit that subscription button as well. But yeah, so I go ahead and tell you that a lot of people want to see Thurman get beat the fuck up. Yeah, facts. You know what I'm saying? But the PBC thing, like Earl and Ugas did, you know, we'll just say 35, right? We'll say 35 to 40 mil. Earl Spence and Ugas did 35 to 40 million. PBC thinking Yordanis Ugas and Earl Spence go do 45 million up, right? What I'm hearing, Earl Spence wants about 25 million if he's going to have to fight Keith Thurman, right? Because this is a fight that was good, Yako. Shout out to my guy, Yako White. Appreciate you sliding through this thing, Yako. Glad you could make it. TWT in the building. What's good, family? Appreciate you sliding through this thing. Winner having the boxing conversation. He said, go by Thurman, biggest pay-per-view. That was 500K. His last pay-per-view, I sold Buzz too. This fight is big, but not big enough for 25 million. No, not 25. Well, now he do want 25 guaranteed. He don't want 25 million up front. Goes, you know, this is, you know, what my guy telling me, right? He don't want the 25 million up front. He want 25 million guaranteed, though, goes. He do want 25 million guaranteed. You know what I mean? He do want 25 million guaranteed. Not up front, though. But if he's going to fight Keith Thurman, you get what I'm saying? And this is where, you know, this is where it's all coming from, right? Ugas, the fight with Ugas, you know, they made roughly 39 million, you know, $35 to $40 million off that fight, right? Earl Spence is looking at it like this. Him and Ugas is going to do 50 million. 50 million or up. Earl Spence won't half. He won't half because he feel like Keith Thurman slowed him down, and he feel like, you know, if y'all really want this fight, y'all gonna have to pay me for this fight. Shout out my guy, Derrick Jones. He said, "This cap. What's cap, Derrick? Appreciate you sliding through. Y'all don't shoot Derrick. Don't shoot Derrick. Don't shoot Derrick. Because I don't think he was saying I'm cap. I think he was saying the fight made 39 million cap. You know what I mean? But that's, you know, Derrick, you could do the Earl Spence gate, right? Earl Spence had 40,000 people in the building, right? And the pay-per-views did anywhere from 250 or up, right? So do 250, you know, times 100, and then you could do the average ticket for the Earl Spence fight was about $300. So do 300 times 39,000. You know what I mean? And then a lot of people don't know, like, the total gate of a fight. You know, you add up concessions and you add all that shit up in there too. You add the door numbers, you add up concessions, you add all that shit up. You know what I mean? Inside, and then you get a number. It ain't just, you know, it ain't just. Nah, don't shoot him. Don't shoot Deer. Deer a real person. Don't shoot Deer. Deer a real person. He just said, "See, I know, bro. I was going back and forth." Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, they know. What's cap, dude? What's cap? He said, EJ making our work for the contract. Salute to EJ. Make as much as possible. Earl, one of the top pay-per-view sellers. When you really right now, I personally, I'm gonna watch the fight. I'm damn sure gonna watch it, right? If it happened, right? If it happened. What I'm saying is this fight ain't set in stone. You know what I'm saying? People think it's set in stone. You ain't got a date on this for a reason. You know what I mean? And I ain't saying that you ain't gonna get one soon. He said, I ain't seen a source to prove Ugas did better than Danny. I ain't never say Ugas, you know, did better than Danny, but I will say this. Earl profile, you know, from Ugas to Danny had grown since then. You know what I mean? But I'm not surprised that Earl fights, you know, did better. You know what I mean? As it progressed. You know what I mean? But you know, you can believe it. Like, you can believe, you know, your source. I didn't even say a source. I said, you know, that's the word. He said it ain't no source. Facts. You know, that's how you feel. You know what I mean? But the folks I talk to, you know what I mean? You probably want to check. You know, you probably want to check. You know, some of these folks, you know, credentials and shit. You know what I mean? But I would expect most people to feel like that the sources ain't real, because most people don't know what the fuck going on. You know? Most people don't know what the fuck going on. You know what I mean? But what's good? Stay dangerous. Appreciate you. I'll be ready to drop the flames for Stay Dangerous. That's how you know you need to come on home, Stay Dangerous. Shout out my guy, Stay Dangerous. Appreciate you sliding through this, John. Stay Dangerous. Glad you can make it. He said Thurman and Earl will do better than Ugas. Though, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Ugas did better than Ugas did. I was at the Ugas fight. You know what I mean? Ugas did better than they expected, right? Ugas did better than they expected pay-per-view wise, and it did better than they expected gate wise. So now they looking at it like, if we put Earl Spence and Keith Thurman on, we want to see what that junk go do. Now he good. I'm finna rinse you up, Derek, because they on your ass. Either let me know what I gotta do, TWT. Now all you got, matter of fact, man, my bad. Matter of fact, it's pretty much that simple. Let me get Dura right before y'all pop their ass. Hold on. But hell yeah. You know what I mean? So the Earl and the Keith An Earl fight, that's a fight that the PBC want. That's a fight that the company want. That's a fight that makes sense for the company, right? And I mean, I'm not saying it don't make sense for Earl, but I'm saying like, that's a PBC fight. They've been trying to give us their fight, all year pretty much. You know what I mean? For the most part, they've been trying to get it to us all year. Y'all don't remember in January they was talking about Keith and Earl and all that shit. Y'all remember Keith Thurman? How about this? Let's pay attention. Right? Y'all remember right before Keith Thurman fought Barrios? Y'all remember right before Keith Thurman fought Barrios, right? Keith Thurman, he talk a lot, right? But do anybody remember Keith Thurman had dropped a nugget? Keith Thurman dropped a nugget 1 second too early, right? Keith Thurman came out and he said something. He spoke a little too soon. And then the media had to counter, double back on Keith Thurman and calm it down a little bit and smooth it over. It was a big thing. It was something big that Keith Thurman said. Do anybody remember what Keith Thurman said before he was about to fight? He was about to fight Barrios, right? He was in training camp for Barrios, and he came out and he said something. Do anybody remember? It was some big news that went viral, right? Got the boxing world talking. Do anybody remember exactly what Keith Thurman said? I got 34 people in the building. I got 41 likes. If you're in the building right now and you ain't smashed the like button, if you could, do your boy solid. Smash that like button. I don't know if it's your first time, but if you could not make it your last time, could you hit that subscription button as well? Okay, so y'all don't know what Keith Thurman said. Keith Thurman had slipped up, right? He let the cat out the bag. Keith Thurman came out and he said this fight with Barrios is a WBC final eliminator. Y'all remember he said that he came out and he said it in the interview. He was talking, he was rambling, he was doing this Keith Thurman thing, and he said, I'm fighting Spence next. This fight a WBC eliminator, right? And then that news broke. Everybody was saying, oh, Keith Thurman fighting Earl next. Keith Thurman fighting Earl next. And then the sanctions and bodies and the power that be, they came out and they had said, no, it's not a final eliminator. It's a title eliminator, not a final eliminator. It doesn't mean that he gonna fight Earl next, right? And they kind of had to smooth that shit over. You know what I mean? But you fast forward, right? Let's fast forward. Let's fast forward to right now. Is Keith Thurman not, or is Keith Thurman, or is Keith Thurman not the WBC, title eliminator, final eliminator? Is he not the mandatory for, Earl Spence belt? He is. You know what I mean? So, this, I'm not surprised, right? That this is a fight that, the PBC is pushing for. It makes perfect sense. And I'm not knocking the PBC or I'm not knocking Earl Spence. You know what I mean? I personally believe that the fight is going to get done. Earl don't want to do it. The PBC, you know what I mean, want Earl to do it. Earl Spence feel like, man, I did a lot for the PBC. Whenever y'all called the phone, I answered. You know what I mean? I do good numbers. You know what I mean? I don't really want to fight this guy. I will fight this guy, but y'all go, y'all gonna have to give me what I want this time. You know what I mean? Y'all have to give me what I want. Go say Keith never dug Spence. That's cap 2. Ghost, man, you argue about that shit all the time. You know what I mean? You say he was injured, Ghost. I think he used the injury to duck him. You know what I mean? So that's a conversation for another day. I don't even want to go there. Or maybe we'll go there a little later. You know what I mean? We'll go there a little later. You know what I mean? He said if EJ fighting Thurman leads to Undisputed, just made the fight. We don't know if they lead to Undisputed, though, dear. They don't tell us that they lead to Undisputed. That's if we was going to get Undisputed, we could have got Undisputed before this. You know what I mean? Him fighting Keith Thurman don't mean that we leading to Undisputed. Earl already got 3 belts. You know what I mean? Bud Crawford fighting Earl Spence mean that we get Undisputed. You know, this fight, Keith Thurman don't got nothing to do with Undisputed. You know what I mean? Earl Spence could just, you know what I mean, sit out. Because, Keith Thurman is the mandatory right for the WBC, but it's also a timetable, you know what I mean, on the WBC mandatory. So he got a certain amount of time before he have to, you know what I mean, defend that jump against Keith Thurman. So Earl Spence could. What's good, Quick? Appreciate you sliding through this thing, Quick. Glad you can make it. Feel like I ain't seen you all day. Yeah, my bad, but I digress, right? So yeah, Errol Spence got to fight Keith Thurman for the mandatory, right? But it's still a timetable to where he got to fight him at. So he still got a some matter of time before he have to fight him. So Errol Spence could very well just chill out until Bud finishes his fight. Bud gonna be done fighting next week. That's the thing that people missing. The thing that people ain't seeing. Bud fight is this week. That means Bud gonna be free to negotiate again Sunday. You know what I mean? Sunday, Bud gonna be free to negotiate. Sunday, you know what I mean? Bud Crawford gonna be free to negotiate again. And what Errol Spence is saying, well, shit, this a fight that y'all want. I want the Bud fight. Y'all tried to give me the Bud fight. I couldn't get it right. So in order for me to feel comfortable, right? Like y'all didn't just try to mess me over to get me to do this fight that y'all wanted me to do anyway. Y'all gonna have to, pay me a little bit, for this fight to make me happy. You get what I'm saying? Y'all gonna have to give me what I want this time. I mean, and this ain't no, and it ain't like they ain't at a disagreement or at odds. It's just that Errol Spence, he do have more options than just to fight Keith Thurman. You know what I mean? Because Bud fight about to be up this week. You know what I mean? So, you get what I'm saying? He just said, how long y'all go get CBD? She said, how long y'all go get CBD to negotiate the fight? Start Sunday. Take two one more time. From the top. Nah. I'm just saying, like, he don't gotta fight Keith Thurman quickly. You know what I mean? Keith Thurman is the mandatory, right? But it's a certain amount of time he got before he gotta fight Keith Thurman. So he don't gotta fight Keith Thurman next. You know what I mean? He gotta fight Keith Thurman next if he run out of time for the mandatory. He ain't ran out of time yet. Keith Thurman just became the mandatory. You know what I mean? Keith Thurman just became the mandatory for the fight. We're early saying, I want to fight Bud Crawford, right? Y'all couldn't, he said, y'all couldn't make that fight happen for me, right? I know y'all been wanting the Keith Thurman fight. You know what I mean? It makes sense. That's the in-house fight. I know y'all been wanting the Keith Thurman fight, but I would rather drop the belts before I fight Keith Thurman again. So if y'all want me to fight Keith Thurman again, then y'all gonna have to, give me a little pay raise. You know what I mean? Now, I said that about Bud because that's for the people that say, well, Earl ain't got no choice. Earl do got a choice because it's a certain amount of time he got before he got to fight his mandatory. You know what I mean? So he still could fight a unification fight, before Thurman. Thurman is just who he got to fight next if he can't get a unification fight. He got 9 months. Mandatory, you get 9 months before you gotta, defend your mandatory. Bud fight this week. So it's a little time in between there. He don't necessarily gotta jump into the Keith Thurman thing. And I ain't saying that the Keith Thurman thing ain't gonna happen, right? I ain't saying the Keith Thurman thing ain't gonna happen. What I'm saying is the reason why, right? Everybody's saying Earl gonna fight Keith, Keith the mandatory, right? But it's a reason, right? A date ain't been called. It's a reason, right? It ain't happened just yet. And that's because we all know Errol Spence really don't want to mess with Keith Thurman in no kind of way, shape, or form because what he did to Earl back in the day, right? We all understand that. But this fight can happen. You know what I mean? They just gonna have to, increase the budget for the fight, I should say, right? They got to increase the budget for the fight. They got to increase the guarantee, you know what I mean, for the champion in this fight. You know what I mean? Because Earl already said before, right, that I would rather drop my belts before I fight Keith Thurman. Now, right, what I'm hearing, right, from my sources is it's a caveat in there. Errol Spence is willing to fight Keith Thurman. You know, it's fans who excited about Earl and Keith. It's fans who don't give a fuck. And it's fans who don't want him to fight Keith at all, right? Earl went from, I'd rather drop my belts, you know what I mean, before I fight him, to now, he will fight him. Not something that he want to do, but if he fight him, he going to have to be paid handsomely, right? And I had I had been hearing this, but I talked to my guy the other day. We was having, a conversation. Earl and Bud came up, and then I said, man, F that. I don't really want to talk about that. What's up with Earl and Keith? How how that's going along? And he was like, well, shit, Earl Spence, don't really want to fight Keith, but he said, shit, if the money right, he'll fight anybody. You get what I'm saying? And that's how we got going on this conversation. So I asked him what Earl asking for. Earl want, this is, and I trust my sources, so I'm standing on this, right? My guy telling me Earl want 25 guaranteed, not 25 up front. He just want 25 guaranteed for this fight because of what the last fight did, what Earl fights been doing, right? You know what I mean? The average ticket price for Earl versus Ugas was $300. Somebody real quick, do 300 times 39 800. Do 300 times 39,800 and tell me what's the number real quick. You know what I mean? That fight did better than everybody expected. And PBC now is looking at it like, well, shit, if I put Earl in there with Yordanis Ugas and it did that, I know if I put Earl Spence in there with Keith Thurman, that judge go do maybe double that. If not double, at least pretty close. You get what I'm saying? That's a much more Earl Spence versus Keith Thurman. That's a much more high profile fight than Earl Spence versus Ugas. You know what I mean? So Quee said 11,940,000. So roughly $12 million, right? So that's the gate, right? So that was the gate. You know what I mean? So the gate with Ugas, right? A relatively unknown fighter in the United States. Ugas' fan base is not in the United States. There is a Cuban fan base in the United States, but out of them, you know what I mean? It's not a big population of them, and all of them, ain't even boxing fans and paying attention to Ugas. You get what I'm saying? So Earl Spence did $11 million, damn near $12 million gate with Yordanis Ugas. And that's strictly what we could prove. We ain't even go get into the pay-per-view numbers, right? Because, I heard the pay-per-views did 230,000. Somebody told me the pay-per-views did 330,000. You know what I mean? Somebody told me the pay-per-views did 400,000. Somebody told me the pay-per-views did 290,000. You get what I'm saying? And if you average all this shit up, there's roughly about 360, thousand. So we ain't even gonna use the pay-per-views, right? But that's just strictly the gate. That's just strictly the gate. Earl Spence did that gate where Yordanis Ugas, a Cuban who nobody really knows about in America like that. So imagine if you stick Keith Thurman and Earl Spence and JRL, what it's gonna do? JRL hold 100,000. If Earl can put 39,000 in there with Ugas, Keith Thurman could bring shit. Let's say Earl put goddamn 35,000 of those people in there, right? Ugas did, it wasn't 5,000 Ugas fans in there. I'm just being generous, right? So let's just say Earl put 35,000 of those people in there out of 39,000. So if Earl could bring 35,000 to Cowboy Stadium, right? I know goddamn Keith Thurman could bring at least 20,000. You know what I mean? So that's 55,000 people in attendance now, roughly. That's at the low end, right? There's 55,000 people in attendance for Earl and Thurman. So that's over half the stadium. So yeah, Quee, I'm just being generous. I know it wasn't 5,000 Ugas fans in there. It might have been. It probably wasn't even 1,000 Ugas fans in there, Quee. Honestly, I just gave them 5,000 fans, to take the low end. You know what I mean? So Earl and Keith go put roughly 55,000 or 60,000 in there. You know what I mean? And that's just strictly the gate. That ain't concessions. That ain't merchandise. That ain't the pay-per-views or nothing. All the stuff that we can't prove, that ain't none of that shit, right? We went out strictly the gate, and that's a number that we could prove. Shout out to my guy Yako. He said he was there. So Quee just backed me. It wasn't that many Ugas fans there. Yako was, it wasn't 5,000 people there. It wasn't 5,000 Ugas fans there. You know what I mean? So Earl know his fight with Keith Thurman makes sense. The fight with Keith Thurman go do numbers. You know what I mean? Earl wanted a little bigger piece of the pie. And it wouldn't even matter if it wasn't Keith Thurman. It's the whole Keith Thurman situation. Everybody in here right now know how Earl feel about goddamn Keith Thurman. I got 28 people in the building. I got 45 likes. I need 5 of y'all to smash that like button. Get your boy, you know what I mean, to 50 likes. So the fight makes sense. It makes sense business-wise for the PBC. It makes sense for Keith Thurman because Keith Thurman get a bag. Right? The only person that really don't make sense for is Earl Spence because Earl Spence won't undisputed. He don't want to fight no motherfucking Keith Thurman. You know what I mean? Fans, it's fans that want it, and then it's fans, that's ready to, rip it apart. And then if you really get down to it in totality of it, right? Let's just say Earl do fight Keith Thurman next, right? Y'all do your boy a favor. Y'all smash that like button. I got 46 likes right now. I need 4 y'all to smash that like button. If y'all in here, y'all ain't subscribed to the channel, do your boy solid. Subscribe to the channel. I be saying subscribe to the channel. Y'all don't be subscribing to the channel because my subs don't be growing. You know what I mean? They don't be growing. I tell y'all to subscribe to the channel. They be growing at other times or random times throughout the day and shit like that. You know what I mean? But y'all be in here, y'all be sneak watching. Y'all don't be supporting the grind. I just lost 2 people. There was 2 people that probably didn't want to subscribe to the channel. You know what I mean? And I'm glad you gone. Some of them a bit. But for the people that do subscribe, after y'all subscribe, y'all let your boy know y'all subscribe so I can thank y'all properly. You know what I mean? The Southern T way, the TWT way, the right way, the long way, the strong way. But I digress. You know what I mean? And it ain't, I know you did, Yako. I know you did, Yako. I know you hit the like button, Yako. I'm talking about the people that, they just, they pop in, that don't smash the like button, or the people who might forget to hit the like button. You know what I mean? Let YouTube know that we active. Let YouTube know that we live. Let YouTube know that we cooking, right? But, from my sources, right? But not like all in all, right? Everybody feel like Earl Spence is about to fight Keith Thurman next, right? Keith Thurman is the mandatory to Earl Spence next, right? But what I'm saying is that fight ain't set in stone. And if you don't want to take my word for it, just kind of go look at Earl Spence tweets. He said like 2 weeks ago, man, I still don't know who I'm going to fight next because Earl Spence ain't sold on fighting Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman is his mandatory, but this time in between there that he got before he got to fight Keith Thurman. Earl Spence really want to fight Bud Crawford. Earl Spence really, his mindset is on Bud. That's how fighters lose. That's how fighters get hurt. You know what I mean? When they mind ain't in it, doing things that they don't want to do. You know what I mean? That's how fighters lose. Because he thinking about Bud and he in there fighting Keith Thurman. You get what I'm saying? So if his mind ain't all the way in it, I don't think that he should do it. But if he's saying, if up my, if the rumors are true, right? If you give me the 25 guaranteed, not up front, and he was stressing the fact that, that they felt like 25 guaranteed, it don't have to be up front. You know what I mean? J.A. Damn it, man. What's good? Damn it, man. What's good? Appreciate you sliding through this joint. TWT in the building. Appreciate you sliding through. Yeah, Queen, the lookers. The lookers. He said YouTube do make with the like with my boy all the time. Yeah. Appreciate y'all folks sliding through this thing too, by the way. But my guy J.A. Dixon just said outside of Bud, which fight is bigger than Thurman? J.A. Dixon, I agree with you. Keith Thurman is the biggest fight outside of Bud. Actually, J.A. Dixon, if we being real about it, right, J.A., I think even if with the Bud fight, if we talking about financially, right, we talking about who are the more popular fighters, right? Earl and Keith Thurman are the more popular fighters. I think Earl and Keith Thurman are the bigger names. I think Earl and Keith Thurman could actually get more people in the building than Earl and Bud. I believe Earl and Bud is the biggest fight as far as legacy goes. Financially, right, which would where the PBC come in at financially, right? The biggest fight is Spence and Thurman. And it's probably the biggest fight overall when you're going by popularity and, weight. Keith Thurman got a bigger reach than Bud Crawford. You add Keith Thurman and Earl reach together, I think is bigger than Earl and Bud reach. A lot of Bud reach is the people that know Earl Spence because Bud attached his name to Earl Spence over the recent years. Now, that's just my opinion, right? But that's just how I feel. So a lot of the people that know Bud, they already know Earl. That fight is big because it's a legacy fight, you know what I mean, for the two. Keith Thurman and Earl Spence makes a lot of fucking money. You know what I mean? Yeah, Josh Taylor and Earl could. You know what I mean? He said Thurman got a bigger fan base than Bud. Yeah. Yep. And Thurman from the South, he's from Florida. More people can migrate, from where Thurman from, to the fighting shit, from where his base is at. His base is in Florida, right? His base is in the South. He's a Southern built fighter, just like Earl Spence. You know what I mean? You put that fight in Texas, people go come. You gonna have them Florida boys coming, and you gonna have them Texas boys. You know what I mean? And you gonna have them Texas boys. It's more people in Texas that know Keith Thurman than your Dennis Ugas. You know what I mean? So, Thurman and Earl got the potential to be huge. That might be financially, that's one of the biggest fights in boxing financially. Legacy-wise, Bud and Earl is one of the biggest fights in boxing. Financially wise, Thurman and Earl is one of the biggest fights in boxing. Y'all can take out these nuggets too, these gems that I'm dropping. Make sure you write it down in your notepad. Make sure y'all write these nuggets down in y'all notepad when y'all go talk about this shit. I got 46 likes. Y'all do your boy a favor. Y'all smash that like button for your boy. I need 4 more y'all to smash that like button. I went from 32 people in the building to 25 people in the building. Could y'all do your boy a favor? Y'all jab that like button. You know what I mean? From your boy. But this, basically what I'm saying right here today is that Earl Spence and Keith Thurman, the powers that be, that's the fight that they want next, right? Earl Spence himself, that's not necessarily the fight that he would favor next. You know what I mean? And if you don't believe me, go check his Twitter. He just said not too long ago, I don't know who I'm fighting next. Before that, he said, I drop the belts before I fight Keith Thurman, right? So, not necessarily a fight that he want. His mind and his focus is more so on Bud Crawford. That's the fight, you know what I mean, that he wants. And again, I'm going to say this. That's how fighters lose. That's how fighters get hurt. You know what I mean? When they go in there, unfocused. When they fight, when they do things they don't want to do, when they fight fighters they don't want to fight because you're unmotivated for it. So if Keith Thurman don't motivate you, Earl, I feel like if Earl Spence asks for, they just say 25 million guaranteed, right? I feel like, that's something that, he should get. If that's going to motivate him, if y'all understand, this going to be a big fight, you know what I mean? If that's going to get your guy in the ring, you know what I mean? Let's make it happen. And there's still a chance that Earl Spence could move up, you know what I mean? But from my thinking, right, if you asking me, Chris said, let the family come on to Texas so we can cut up again. Yeah, facts, Quee. Facts. James Evans said legacy fights later make more. They will make for the beginning, or they will make in the beginning. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yep. Yeah, I get what you're saying. And then, from my thinking, right, what I'm thinking, and from what my guy told me. My guy told me he feel like, they gonna give Spence what he want and the fight gonna get announced. And from my thinking, shit, that's what I'm thinking too. I know Earl don't want to do it, right? But I know the PBC, they like Earl. They do have a good relationship. So I think in the end, he gonna end up, getting what he want. And, we probably gonna get that Keith Thurman and Earl Spence fight, right? I would much rather Earl Spence move up. So I'm hoping that he moves up, right? But what I'm thinking, right, is they go, drop that bag on him and we go begin Keith Thurman and Earl Spence announced. Probably shit. Maybe the Javante fight. Maybe the Javante fight. But I think they gonna work it out. And and he will probably end up fighting Keith because I think they gonna give him, a number that he can't turn down. Because when normally when two fighters are on the same side of the street, right? When two fighters work for the same company, right? And the company wants a fight, shit. 9 times out of 10, the fight happens. The fight either happens or the fighter end up, leaving that company with a dispute or something like that, which I doubt is gonna happen in this case. So my thinking is at this point, 2 options. 2 things could happen, right? What's good, Big Tex? Appreciate you sliding through this thing, Big Tex. Glad you can make it, pimp. TWT in the building. 2 things could happen, right? 1, the fight could happen, or 2, right? Earl weighed out, the WBC mandatory, right? And he tried to schedule a Terrence Crawford fight. Because if he scheduled a Terrence Crawford fight before the WBC mandatory deadline is up, then, unification trumps mandatory. So he has an out that way. So I see either him fighting Keith Thurman or, which I don't think this is going to happen either because Bud don't want to fight Earl Spence, right? Or he work out a fight with Bud Crawford and they fight for undisputed, right? Type deal. And then, the third option is him moving up to 154. So, 3 things, right? You go up to 54. You fight Keith Thurman in the meantime. Or you say F Keith Thurman, you just wait till after Bud fight, Saturday, and you try to work out something with him. Because he said he was going to spin the block, right? So maybe, him spinning the block means, he going to spin the block after his fight. If he can work out a fight with Bud Crawford, before the WBC mandatory, then he can go straight into a unification. And WBC can't say shit because after that, he moving up anyway. So after he fight Bud, he go drop the belts anyway. Win, lose, or draw. You get what I'm saying? So he wouldn't have to fight Keith Thurman or the WBC mandatory. But I don't think that's going to happen because I don't really think Terrence Bud Crawford want to fight him. But I ain't going to keep y'all in this thing too long. Just wanted to come here and have a little boxing conversation with y'all. Is there one thing for sure? What happened? EJ fights Thurman. Spence will hurt Thurman. Right. Y'all do your boy favor. Y'all jab that like button. But I ain't going to keep y'all here too long. I know y'all probably want to go holler at, y'all other folks. I know we probably got some more folks live. You know what I mean? But I greatly appreciate everybody sliding through this thing. Skin the Holloway Southern T. This ain't the past. This ain't the future. But this the present. This how we rocking. And I'm out. Love.